Hello all, my name is Adonis and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a love or loss spread for all of my cancers out there from February 20th until March 5th. So let's get after it. Okay. Sun, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Sun, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. So many cards I need to see. So many cards I need to see. What kind of love or energy is coming towards my cancers during February 20th to March 5th. What kind of energy or love are coming towards my cancers during February 20th to March 5th? Some cards that I need to see. Okay. Ooh, that one to pop out there. All right, here we go. Feels great. All right, so here we go. Ooh. Okay, so right from the beginning here, we have an individual that has kind of put the brakes on, or at least slowed down dramatically a potential situation here. Things seemed like they were headed in the right direction, but things kind of have slowed down almost to a snail's pace, if you will. Okay. And that, I'm getting a sense here, the reason maybe things kind of slowed down a little bit because things were kind of beginning to pick up in intensity here with this individual here. Things started getting serious, in other words. And this is an individual that has thought about having long-term commitment, definitely thought about family, having children. This is an individual that's thinking about the long term. Definitely somebody that's definitely anchored in for something long term, substantial. This is a younger water sign individual here. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, like yourself here. And this individual, definitely on this individual's mind is the aspect that you are their twin flame. So that's definitely a very strong connection that this individual feels for you and to you. But things are kind of slowed down here a little bit because things were beginning to get really serious and really beginning to take off. And it was, I'm getting the sense that it went from, kind of a flirtatious type of situation. Things steadily began to rise in intensity until finally it was like, whoa, you know what? There's really something here. There's really something here. And they kind of put the brakes on a little bit, like, whoa, wait a minute. Let me really kind of look at this. This is like a too good to be true scenario here. All right. Especially with them being a little bit younger. They needed to take a little bit of time to take a breath to make sure, like, I'm going into the deep end of the pool at this point. So let me just kind of make sure that I'm dotting my I's and crossing my T's here. But no worry, things are gonna begin to ramp up at this point. They were slowed down, almost to a crawl, but things are going to really begin to pick up because it's real. Okay, so things are going to begin to take off a little bit. This individual is, they do have a good work-life balance thing going on. They're able to juggle multiple things at the same time. They got a good work thing going on. Also have a good home life going on. So there's no worries there. And they're going to begin to really start communicating with you a lot more frequently via social media, Instagram, Facebook. Also, a lot more text, possibly a lot more phone conversations, meeting you in person. So it's going to be things are going to really begin to ratchet up in intensity, because in their mind, at least, like, this is real, this is legit. Okay. Also, we have a fire sign individual here. Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo. And this is an individual that is extremely sexually attracted to you. And you'll probably really be able to pick up on this, even like merely just being in their presence. You'll be able to feel the pulsating sexual tension. There's going to be this like sexual tension between the two of you, and to this is like a removal of a burden for them. they can't wait for you to, you know, come into their line of thinking, because they're like, hey, this is going to be explosive. We're going to have a good time here, really connecting to each other, because in their mind, at least, it's like, this it's mainly, lack of a better term, it's kind of like a sex type thing here with them. It's really more physical than it is mental or spiritual here. So there's that. So let's see, what kind of strengths are my cancers dealing with? What kind of strengths are my cancers dealing with? What kind of strengths are my cancers dealing with? Okay, two of these wanted to pop out, so we're definitely going to take those. What kind of strengths are my cancers dealing with here? What kind of strengths are my cancers dealing with here? What kind of strengths are my cancers dealing with here? What kind of strengths are my cancers dealing with here? Okay, so here we go. Alrighty. Alright, so my cancers. First thing is, you have a Knight of Pentacles energy here. So this is an individual that is very strategic, if you will, in how you go about progressing in things. And that's what was surprising about this situation with this younger water sign individual. You're usually you usually kind of like, you work at a little bit of a slower pace to really kind of get your footing, to get the feel, the vibe of the situation, if you will, but things began to kind of pick up in intensity. It was unexpected for both you and them. So there was like, wow, this thing is real here. So even though things kind of slowed it down, it was kind of, you felt a little bit more natural. It was more or less more naturally your pace, so you could really feel the thing out. But when things start picking up, believe me, you're going to be more than willing to go in head first with the situation. But anyway, with this, your natural speed is to kind of feel things out a little bit, see where all the ebbs and flows are. So that's again, these are your strengths, okay? Also, we have the Hermit card here. So, you've taken the time to do, like, you've done a lot of self-reflection, a lot of soul searching. So you've done a lot of the inner work on yourself that you need to really help keep you balanced. In addition, here we have the Five of Cups. That is an individual that has, you do have the ability to reflect on things in past relationships that you wish you had kind of done a little bit differently. Maybe you realize there are places where there was, you could tweak things a little bit better, a little bit differently, things like that. And again, that's your strength, because that shows you have the ability to reflect. You'd be amazed how many people do not have that ability. Okay. Also, you're not afraid to take charge of a situation and assert yourself if need be, into a situation, to take control of it, to kind of move it along. Like I said in the beginning, your natural tendency, natural speed is to kind of slow walk it a little bit, kind of, get the feel and the vibe of a situation. But once, you realize that there's a lot of commonality that you have with the individual, and things really begin to start clicking, you have no problem taking control of the situation, progressing it along a little faster if need be, because you're like, okay, I know that this person has my best interest at heart. They really care for me. I really care for them, so I can really kind of put my whole heart into the situation and express myself fully without the worry of being hurt, because I know they care about me as much as I care about them. Now, you're not afraid to be single if need be either. Okay, you are comfortable in your own skin, and you will be solo if need be until until the right person, where you feel as though you have a common interest with that individual, until that individual arrives. That even includes even in a dating situation. You really won't even put yourself out there in a dating situation, without there being, some type of spark there, okay? Because you're comfortable in your own skin, you're not desperate by any stretch of the imagination. And you kind of got, your finances are pretty well together. There's this sense of independence. So, again, you don't mind being single until the right thing comes along. Also, we have the King of Wands. Again, the big picture. You have a tendency to look at the macro instead of the micro. Looking at the big picture. That's why, again, Knight of Pentacles has a tendency to kind of take their time and pace themselves so that they can really get the flow of what's going on here. Back to that again. All right. Also, again, as we talked about finances, you make a very wise decision when it comes to your finances. So you really zeroed into having a solid financial base. And finally here, we have the Eight of Pentacles, which says to me that, hey, you're willing to put the work in. Both, again, dual meaning here. You're willing to put the work into a relationship if it's worth it. Okay, if there's worth it, if there's a sense of compatibility there, then you'll put the work in to make it work. Okay, and that's why you take your time to make sure you're not wasting your time. You want to allocate your time and your resources adequately towards something. All right, or someone rather. Also, the dual meaning in this particular reading of the Eight of Pentacles also is you're willing to put the work into the relationship. Also, you're looking to put the work into your finances as well, because again, the importance of having a financial solid base to be able to have something to build on. Because in other words, no finance, no romance. Okay, just having the financial freedom to be able to do some of those things is very important, and especially important to you, my Cancers, in this particular situation. Not to rule out the emotional connection, but being able to be financially independent is very important. So with that being said, let's find out what are the blockages. What kind of blockages are you going to be facing with this situation? What kind of blockages are you going to face with this particular situation? Ooh. That one just wanted to shoot out there, so we're absolutely going to take that. Okay. So, the one that wanted to shoot out was Nine of Pentacles. Who would have guessed, right? That's the blockage. The blockage is to these particular romances you are comfortable in your own skin. You are okay being single, being solo, okay? If need be, until you find that right situation. Remember, I said by no means at all are you desperate. You're willing to hold out for that right situation. And that even includes dating too. You're not just going to date somebody arbitrarily just to kind of see how things flow. If there is not at least a little bit of a spark, then you're not even going to waste your time. Okay? And that's just the way it is. And this is seen as a blockage, believe it or not. In addition, we have the Four of Cups. Well, pretty much highlighting this aspect of, someone offering you their cup of love. If they don't check, in your mind, these mental check mark, these mental boxes you have, if they don't check these particular boxes, let's just say you got 5. They at least got to do like 4.5, And again, if they don't check at least 4.5 of these boxes, then even though they're going to offer you their cup of love, you're going to be like, nope, I don't want it. I'm going to hold out till I get that 4.5. You're going to hold out. You're going to hold out. 4 is not good enough. It's got to be at least half or even 4.5 or better. 4 is not good enough. I mean, that's just simply how it is. All right. Now, with that being said, my Cancers, we got the Page of Swords. Now, sometimes that could be seen as somewhat of an adolescent energy. It's kind of a childish energy, if you will. We say childish, inexperienced. I'm gonna say here, I'm probably gonna take some heat. That's okay. That's why I'm here. Uh, it is kind of childish. um, although it works for you, so it's got whatever's working for you. But sometimes the criteria is so tight, okay, that it can come off as being like a little childish. Like, come on, really? Like, you know, four, 4.5. What's the difference? Hey, to some people, a lot. But, again, it can come off as a tad bit immature. Um, also, Five of Swords, as a blockage, fighting for someone or walking away. Well, again, because you're secure with yourself, very rarely, even in some cases, even if there is an aspect of a common bond here, you may not necessarily fight for a particular individual. Um, it's a mindset of, well, it's their loss. I mean, that's their loss. And so, and finally here, and that this ducktails with this, we got the Seven of Wands here. And that's like, well, you have the higher ground. In other words, you're the prize. You're the prize. And so you're like, well, hey, listen, it's theirs to lose. So there you go with that. So before I shut this thing down, let's see what additional information Spirit wants to give before I shut this thing down. What additional information Spirit wants to give before I shut this thing down? What additional information? Oh, almost forgot. As far as if this is a love or loss situation, it is definitely a love situation, in particularly with this younger water sign individual. This is new love. This is fresh love, and there's a lot of potential here. So it is definitely a very, and even with the fire sign, if you will, there's even the potential there for, now with the fire sign, we're leaning more heavily towards a sexual connection there, if you will, more so than it would be with the water sign. The water sign is more of a deep love connection here. Okay, so that being said, it is definitely a love connection with this particular situation. So it's definitely love, not loss, but love. All right. So that being said, what additional information Spirit want to give before I shut this thing down? What additional information Spirit want to give before I shut this thing down? Okay, so land gracefully. Okay. And you absolutely are going to land gracefully. You have a certain criteria that you're looking for in an individual, certain characteristics, if you will. And Spirit saying, just make sure you land gracefully here. All right. And I feel that you're gonna land on your feet, absolutely. Um, and also, you know, where you are is where it's at. Well, you definitely feel that way. There is no shortage of confidence with you, my Cancers. Um, stay still until you are divinely moved. Yeah, so basically, in that again, stay still until you are divinely moved. Okay, that's crazy because that's exactly what I've been talking about as far as the Nine of Pentacles goes. You're going to stay right where you are and be like, you know what? I'm the prize. You're kind of picky, all right, which is okay because you have a certain rhythm and criteria you're looking for. But you will stay right there. You'll stay solo until you are divinely moving. Spirit saying, "Yep, that's exactly what you're going to do." And boy, again, that matches perfectly with what I was saying. And also, Spirit wants to say, even though that may be the case, still, divine discernment. You may want to kind of step back just a little bit find a little bit of sense of clarity. Find that middle ground, if you will. Okay. Because you find a diamond in the rough. Okay, so just keep that in mind. With that being said, I'm going to shut this thing down now. And guys, in case you haven't, make sure you like and subscribe. And also don't forget to hit that notification bell up top to make sure you get notified of all my videos as I drop them. This is a general love reading. Hopefully it resonated with you. If it didn't, that's okay. You want a personal reading, again, click the link below. If this did resonate with you, you want to know a little bit more about this situation, again, the link will be below. My name is Adonis. I love you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.